Hello and welcome back. I am so excited. And I know you've heard this before, Leah, but we've got a ray of sunshine here live in person. We've got Lia Valencia Key here. She is a speaker. She is an incredible jewelry maker. And like I said, she is a ray of sunshine here in human form to talk with us today. So welcome, Leah.
You so much for having me. It's such an honor and a joy.
Oh my gosh, it is all the pleasure is mine and such a joy right back at you to be chatting with you today. Before we hopped on the mic, I was just saying how inspirational your story is, and I really want to highlight your story today because we've all gone through, like I said, hard times, but your story is so incredible that I want to share that and show women, if they didn't already realize it, they've got the potential in them to overcome whatever comes their way. And you are an example and living proof of that. And just everything that you're doing is just, I mean, it's incredible. Every time I see you on Instagram, I'm like, how could you not smile when you see Leah? She just makes your day. If your day was awful, take just a hot second to go and look at Leah's stories or catch her live if you have the privilege, because she will turn your frown upside down right away.
I love that so much. Well, it's a choice, and I love having this honor to share my story because, if you met me or see me, you may think like, oh, that just comes natural. She was born that way. She was born in that. And I love to open the behind the scenes story of where I come from so that we can all see ourselves, and everyone's story is not going to be my story, but we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
No human life goes through life without obstacles or hurdles, no matter what form they look like, but they're challenges. And my story starts not in a bright place. It starts truthfully in what I call the darkness. I was born in poverty. I was born in generational poverty, which means my mother's mother, my grandmother was poverty. My grandmother's mother was poverty. And so it just kept going down the generations. And my mother, single mother, three children. It's myself, my brother, and my sister. And I like to self-diagnose her as being paralyzed by society stereotypes and generational poverty. So, but the cool part about it is, even in that darkness, when I share my story, you'll see that she used what she had within to hopefully speak life into her children. I was raised in the most impoverished area of Philadelphia, the neighborhood, drug transactions on every corner, trash riddled in the streets. That's what I was raised into. But then it went from poverty to destitute when my mother had a horrible accident and broke her leg in several places. So now she could no longer, the small work she was able to try to muster to do, she could no longer do. So there's a moment where my mother's getting her three children home, me, one of them, and we get to the door and there's a padlock on the door. And where we lived was a basement of someone else's home. So we didn't even have a home ourselves. We're in the basement and that was locked. And so now you have a mother with three children with no place to take her children. And that immediately took us to destitute because it landed us in a woman's homeless shelter. And I'm 44 now, so I pray that homeless shelters have evolved, but the homeless shelter that we landed in, if you think of a gym-sized room, big room, and these metal cots, if no one knows what a cot is, it's this hard metal bed that unfolds, and they're pretty small. And then they're filling the gym room 1 feet apart. So they're layers and rows, and one mother gets one cot to the entire family. So the entire family is balled up on the cot with the little belongings that they landed there with. So there's crying and moaning and hopelessness and sorrow and profanity and darkness, just filling this entire room. I vividly share that because that was the first moment that a seed of light was planted in my life. And I say a seed because I was super young. I was about third grade, so that makes me around age 8. And my mother looked down in the midst of all this darkness, and she looked at myself, my sister, and my brother, and told us, "Your predicament does not determine your destiny." And I like to pause on that because the power of the words, power of spoken word too. And I don't think I've defined that clear often. Like, we have a lot of words circling in our brains, and that's powerful, what you think, right? But then the power that what you speak out of your mouth is even more powerful. And so I'd like to say, like, what are you speaking into other people's lives? Like, anyone that's listening, what are you speaking into your own life? Because it will move the trajectory of your life. Whatever you're speaking will move your life trajectory. And so my mother spoke into our lives. She couldn't physically break out of this paralyzation that she was in, but she used the last tool that she could, was the power of words, and spoke that our predicament didn't determine our destiny. That was a seed because I didn't understand it when I was younger, but I'm blessed to be able to share it now. So that means it rooted inside of me. But I started to live, we lived in a homeless shelter for several years, and I started to become my environment, is what I saw. I became negative. I spoke negative. I failed all the grades. Any grade that I was taking, I failed it. And because that's what I saw. But I love to share the first true light that was turned on in my life was I'm coming back from school to the homeless shelter, and I see my mother standing at the head of the homeless shelter door. And I'm a little nervous because I'm like, she's that happy. I don't know what I'm walking up on. And I'm trying to think in my brain because I wasn't being the best person. So I'm like, what did I do? What did she find out I did? I'm trying to process it. And I get to her at the door, and she said, "Leah, I just need to ask you, do you want to be a follower or a leader?" And I'm like, what? So now I'm about 10, 11, 12. It's years have went past. I'm still young though, 10, 11, 12. And she says, because right now, because I'm looking confused when she's asked me that question. And she says, so right now you're following. And guess what, Leah? You're going to become everything you follow. Everything you see, you are going to become it. Or, Leah, you can choose to lead. You can choose to lead your life. There's an inner whisper inside of you. There's a destiny and there's a light inside of you that you can choose, and you can lead it all the way to your destiny, Leah. And so now you choose. And she walked off.
Wow.
That was magical because it was the gift of choice.
Yeah.
And I like to pause there because there was a couple of things that I'm just so honored that I was able to receive in that moment. One was permission. And I realized as humans, we need permission. Like, we don't think we do, but subconsciously we do, because what I realized, I was young, but I could remember vividly feeling the flooding of this power of choice welcomed into my life. Because before, I didn't know I could choose. I literally thought, this is what everyone does around me. This is what we are. This is how we act.
Yeah.
This is what we become. And then when my mother exposed me to know, like, no, there's something inside of you that you need to listen to, and you can choose that. And I realized, like, I never felt good being negative and following. It just seemed like what I was supposed to do, but I knew there was something inside of me that was saying something different. And I was actually ignoring the voice inside of me. So when my mother gave me permission to choose that voice, oh, the light was turned on, because now no longer was I looking for external. I was now looking inside for what was my destiny and what was true to me. And that just started literally becoming the pendulum that truly changed my life.
That's incredible. I mean, so many things are running through my brain as I hear that, because how incredible is that you had that blessing from your mom? I mean, how many of us go through life not ever hearing anyone speak those words to us, and we have to figure it out ourselves, right?
Right.
And it may take us, I mean, you were blessed that you were so young, 10 years old to have heard that, but some of us go decades, into our 30s, 40s, heck, even, 50s or 60s until we realize, oh my gosh, like I've been following all this time, or I've been so negative all this time. Like
Yeah.
I'm just wasting my life away. There's so much more to live for. There's so much more beauty in this world when you are consciously looking for that and choosing, yeah, choosing to make those choices that are going to support not only you, but the people around you, right? Because again, that sunshine that you share, that bright light that you share yourself, it impacts everybody around you. Just like that negativity that you, if you choose to share that, that's what impacts everyone around you. And I think oftentimes we forget that our actions impact everyone around us as well. What an incredible
I,
gift that was.
I'm so grateful for that too. And I'm so grateful that I get to share it. I get to, first, I'm grateful that at a young age, I was able to recognize that gift. And
Yeah.
truly, because that immediately changed my life. Honestly, nothing was easy, like nothing. Just because you get the gift doesn't mean it's easy. So
Right.
I received the gift, but when you hold true to a beautiful mindset, then and you're able to have something to always come back to that is truth, and so that truth prevails now throughout my entire life. That I live on that truth, that no longer am I externally outside of me. And even I know when I am. So I'm able to reshift myself back to my truth. And then really I went back to school that next day. I remember I blacked out a lot of parts of my youth because it was challenging, but I remember that next day going back to school with like so much excitement, like asking the teacher, how do I get better grades? How do I see outside of my environment? I could just see my little self like so like
Oh,
I've got the answer, just someone. And so I share that because when you choose now the challenge is to share,
yeah.
and you're not necessarily sharing directly for someone to solve your problem.
Yeah.
I say share it out, share your dream, share where you're wanting to go, because when it's circled inside of you, where is it going? It's
Right.
just circling, but when you get it out of your mouth, I truly believe it gives it wings to fly.
Yeah.
Believe that they start to when you I had a talk, and I'm like, so believing is an action word. So once you choose something, so I chose to listen to my mother and listen to my inner whisper, and that this predicament was not me. So then I chose to do an action, to go to school and ask how do I get better grades. And what that proved was that I believed my mother's word so much that I did an action. So I'd love to encourage anyone that's listening is, what are you believing in?
Yeah.
And then if you believe it truly, the test to know if you're really believing something is, what actions are you doing towards it?
Ooh.
And it could be a millimeter action. I create Valencia Key jewelry. Valencia is bravery, defined as bravery and courage, and key is a key that unlocks, right? So the whole mission is to be symbolic, wearable, joy, light, and knowing that you have the keys within inside you to unlock these possibilities.
Yeah.
Right? So, but then in the design, I realized I hand sketch everything, to be symbolic of how I want you to visually connect to what it can symbolize in your life. But then when I take those hand sketches, now I got to translate that in the manufacturer world so they can create them.
Yeah.
And then what I learned is they would also always say, oh, how many millimeters is this shape? And I'm like, huh, millimeter? And they're like, no, the exact millimeter, because 2 millimeters in this shape versus 3 millimeters in the same shape is an entirely different design.
Wow.
And so a millimeter is the smallest measurement on a ruler, meaning it's super small. So what you would think in normal life, well, a millimeter here, a millimeter there, it doesn't really matter. It's the smallest measurement. It drastically impacts the design. It drastically impacts whether it's flexible or not flexible, whether it's quality or not quality. And then I realized, like, wow, so that's our life. A millimeter movement drastically impacts our lives. And where we get depressed and stuck and at the point to give up is we're looking at this big action that we need to do. And it almost seems impossible. But if you take the smallest step, asking the teacher, how do I get better grade? That's the smallest step.
Oh,
That drastically, I'm able to sit here today because I just asked one question. And so I'd encourage someone to have the big dream. Now take the big dream and take it all the way back to what's the smallest, least pressure action that you can do toward that dream. And if you keep building these millimeter movements, you will literally drastically impact your life.
I love that. I love that advice. And, I would love to know the day in which this happened, when you were 10 years old and your mom shared this, wisdom with you. Was this the turning point for you? Did you have other moments throughout life that you were like, okay, this also is helping me to fulfill my destiny? Or was that really like the turning point for you? Was that day when your mom had that conversation?
That was the day, honestly. And it's just what I chose to live on.
Yeah.
So, like, hurdles and obstacles and temptations and negative things. And trust me, I still fall into shorts of being negative, but I know how to reset and re-choose what's right for me again. So I go always back to that premise whenever I fall off, whenever life is giving me challenging things. It's the core value that I live on to help me continue to know who I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be in life, and how I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Chills. I'm getting chills in my body. So good. So, for the woman who's listening right now, who, maybe she's dealing with a job that is not serving her, maybe a relationship, just anything that's not serving her, what might be, you've already given some incredible advice, but is there any other advice you would give to that woman who's like, I don't even know how to find a way out? Like, I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm paralyzed in my own thoughts.
Yeah.
What advice might you give her to at least start to pull herself out so that she can start seeing the bigger picture of things and how she can start moving forward and taking those small millimeter steps?
Yeah. Well, first, if you're uncomfortable and that it doesn't feel good, then it's not good. I think that's the first acknowledgement. I think congratulate yourself that you're aware that this is not a good place,
Yeah.
a good space, because a lot of people live an entire lifetime and don't awakening to that I need more. Like, or this doesn't feel good to me anymore. They just kind of succumb, get comfortable or get complacent in it and just kind of say, this is kind of is what it is. So if it is agonizingly uncomfortable to you, I think that you're on a verge of a breakthrough, which is wonderful. And now I would say believe in yourself enough that you deserve everything that you know is for you. Because if it's not feeling good, the job, the situation, the relationship, the conversation,
Yeah.
the interaction, the place you walk into, the people that are around, whatever it is, your inner self knows. That's why if we go back to those words my mother say, really listen to your inner self. And because sometimes we start talking ourselves out of it.
Mhm.
Like, oh, but it's so uncomfortable. I know, and I know all these things that I list out are it, but it's the only way I could pay my bills. And you start to justify
Mhm.
the why. If the list is bigger on the reasons why it's not than why it is, or even if the list isn't bigger, but the uncomfortability level is more heavier, because there are some things we're not going to do everything in life that we love,
Yeah.
right? It's
Right.
some there's a give and take in life.
Yep.
So there are some things where you're like, I don't like that, but but it's not, if you ratio it compared to, it's great, so then that's fine. But if your weight burden is way heavier, then stand up for yourself, that you deserve more.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't feel that we deserve more. Maybe society says you deserve more. Maybe somebody told you you'll only be that. Maybe your whole entire family only was that. And you're like, oh, that's just what we all do around here. I mean, kind of like the environment I was born in, right? Like if I looked at that, it'd be like, I mean, well, this is just what we do. This is how we, this is this is the end of what we are, and you just kind of resign to it. And I say don't resign. If there's an inner whisper saying something's different,
Mhm.
do it. And know, is it worse to be uncomfortable in the known or uncomfortable in the unknown? Let me break it down.
Yeah.
You know the situation you're in. You lived it. It's very clear. It's obvious. And it's uncomfortable. It's probably painful. You know it's not for you. So you're aware of all of those things. Now you know that you want to change. You want something different. That is the unknown. You don't know what the change is going to bring for you
Mhm.
because you never lived it.
Mhm.
But either way, you're going to be uncomfortable. How about you go try something different? Like, you know, this is bad. So the worst thing that could happen is that you stand up and listen to your inner self and you walk one step, 1 millimeter movement towards it. And it's very uncomfortable, but you're walking out of the situation that you already know doesn't serve you. Walk towards something that you don't know truly. And I promise you, on the opposite side of uncomfortability is light. Even I was in New York, and it's always crowded and busy. And I was coming from a speech and I was going to a play. And it was so much. It was traffic. It was horns beeping. It was blockades. It was people jumping out in the middle of the streets. The parking was $90. Like it was all types of just tangible hurdles to say, turn around and go home, Leah. This is uncomfortable. But I'm like, well, all right, I know the traffic's bad. I'll get through it. I know that it's going to be expensive here. Okay, but I'm going to keep moving. And I kept pushing through all of these hurdles and obstacles. And on the other side of that was the most magical play experience that I've ever had. I would have never got there
Yeah.
if I had to just stayed in or ran away from, because all of these hurdles were jumping up in front of me. So I would say run to the unknown. There's welcoming there for you.
I love that. And that's where we learn some of our most valuable lessons, and we make some of the most beautiful memories, right? I'm sure that this play sounds wonderful. I'm sure you took several things away from it, right? And had
Yes.
you not gone, who knows what that would have, what you would have done otherwise, right? Like maybe that night would have not brought any new growth for you or any new thoughts and experiences for you. And so by pushing yourself, like you said, to get through that uncomfortability, you did get to see that light on the other side. That's gorgeous. I
That's
love
so
that.
good. I love that too. Like, you don't know what you're pushing to. And I promise, when you push to and push through, there it's going to be so many obstacles and hurdles. That's just what life is.
Yeah.
But oh my God, when you get one step over there, it's just going to open another floodgate of experiences that you don't even know is possible. And I think exposure is the great equalizer. So if you can push yourself to be exposed to something different, you will literally change your life.
I agree. I agree. Oh, so good. Okay, I've got to know, because you bring so much joy to all of us. What are the things that bring you joy that just naturally bring your vibe up even more than it already is?
Yeah. Oh, I love so many things, so many things. So one is I love art. I love drawing, and so with that's how, the jewelry started. My mother passed really early, but the beauty is she got to see me a little bit moving into my light. And the last kind of conversation she had with me was, "Oh, Leah, I see your light shining. I see you leading your life, and I see you following your destiny." And then she gave me these little earrings. And she said, "Always wear your earrings, Leah, because life can be hard. And sometimes you're not going to think you have the light within you anymore. And just touch your earrings, walk past the mirror, see them, put them on, and let them be symbolic symbols for you to be reminded that the light is always within you. All you have to do is choose it." And that she shortly passed. And so that kind of moved me into hand sketching the jewelry.
Mhm.
And hand sketching jewelry just brings me so much joy. And physically being able to see them, that's why my creations are really like, I always say, if you're wearing Valencia Key, it's symbolic that all things are possible for you, not for me, but for you. Because if I can come from where I come from and you can physically wear my pieces, then whatever your dreams are is possible. And
Mhm.
that brings me joy, just to be able to create, manifest, and live out dreams, and then allow my dreams to be wearable reminders that other people's dreams can come true as well. Music also is a true joy for me. Like, I turn music on and I just sing and dance, and no one's watching. I don't care. I don't care if people are there or if I'm by myself. I am the same intensity.
I
It
love
just gives me energy. And good people give me good energy. I love being around beautiful minds. I love minds that don't think like me, don't look like me, don't sound like me. That's why I love traveling. Traveling is another energizer for me. That's why I created the logo. I realized I wanted to bring Valencia Key to the world. I was inspired by beautiful hearts, that, like, if you have a message that has intention and you put it into something tangible, it becomes life changing to the receiver.
Mhm.
So I knew I wanted to bring these sketches that I've been sketching to life, like the Rooted Ring collection, to be inspired that root into your love, root into your peace, because no matter when storms come, you will be strong into these values. So your root won't break, but you'll be long suffering through all things. But I traveled because I had to get outside of my environment. I love being exposed to culture,
Mhm.
because when I see other cultures, I'm grateful. I get to be grateful for what we have in America and what I can learn in other places. And
Mhm.
that's in Spain is where I found that Valencia means bravery and courage in a slang dialect. And also in Morocco, is where I found that the key, I walked into this store and he had keys from ceiling to floor. And I asked the store owner, like, "Whoa, why do you have all these keys?" It was shivering how many keys were in there. And he said, "Oh, the key is symbolic of unlocking light in your life." Right? I mean, other cultures. So that's where actually my logo came from. If I put my logo in all the pieces, and they're the Via Valencia, bravery and courage, in the form of a star,
Mhm.
and put the key in the center, and that we always have the keys inside of us to unlock our light, unlock our bravery, unlock our courage. But I got that through traveling and immersing myself in different mindsets and cultures.
I love that. And we have to talk about more on the topic of the jewelry, please, because one, you'll see this when it goes live on YouTube, but Leah's got this beautiful setup. I mean, we talked about before we started recording this gorgeous chair behind you. You're, of course, always decked out in yellow. And then we've got the gorgeous jewelry. I see the new socks over there. I'm loving those socks. Oh my gosh. And you're wearing them? Yes. Ah, so tell us more about like just the overall, the brand in general, in terms of what you have to offer. Because of course there's jewelry. Now we've got the socks too. And if someone is like myself, is like, oh my gosh, I want one of everything. How do I choose? Like, what might be some things that we can do to help us narrow down our search and really truly find the one that's for us?
Yes, I love that because my prayer is that it's a gift to yourself or others, and it's a gift and a promise to yourself to be reminded of the intention to all of your dreams being possible,
Mm.
right? And so when you wear it, the way I like to have people start is, what is gonna allow your mind to shift into that easier? Some people are not earring people and not necklace people. And so I always say, like, a bracelet is the easiest. I think it's one of the most powerful reminders
Mhm.
because it's no, you just pop the bracelet on your wrist. Like, I created this collection where there's words with
They're
checks on.
gorgeous. Ah,
Thank you. And they're classic. They're just very sleek bands with that logo of light and the key inside. And then there's a word. One word is peace. Is that a word that you need to check in your life? I had the check mark there because if you consistently check in about that emotion, then that's how you stay centered. People are like, how are you always light? Well, I'm always checking in with myself about these intentions. One says love, like, do you want to be loved? Do you want to receive love? Do you want to give love? Are you checking in on those things? One is believe, which is just powerful. Like, are you believing? And then I would love to add, like, if you're believing, what actions are you taking? And so I think a bracelet is easy because I move my hands when I talk. You always are going to see your wrist, whether it's laying on your knee, if it's on a keyboard, if you're typing on the phone. It's that wearable reminder. A lot of people say they just wear it into big meetings, or one beautiful heart, she emailed me. She bought the gratitude bracelet, and it's 3 continuous circles. And I love for people to use those three. Like, what 3 things are you grateful for in the morning? What 3 things are you grateful for in the evening? I also have earrings because sometimes we forget to narrow down on our gratitude because that's where we get to our greatest self. And
yeah.
she said her husband was going to the hospital and she could grab 2 things. And I thought this was so impactful. And she grabbed her pocketbook and her gratitude bracelet. And I was like, oh, my heart. And she said the reason why she did it is because she knew her mind was going to go to a challenging place, worrying and maybe the negative thoughts of hospitalization. And she grabbed the bracelet so that she could textually touch the 3 to remind her that she's grateful that he's able to go to the hospital and he's still breathing, that she's able to be with him, that she's able to pray for him, and that she can set her mind into a positive way of thinking versus a downward spiral. And I'm like, that is everything I pray for, that we utilize it to
Yeah.
allow us to keep our minds on the right track. The Cozy Collection, I created that because you need it in your home. You need it in your home. Like, I feel like our home, a lot of homes are very neutral, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't decorate with color, but there is something to be said of a color intention, and to see a color, it will awaken your mindset. So I have like a cozy blanket. It's a warm hug of light that you can just wrap in and be reminded. Or these comfortable socks. They just make you smile. They're the easiest gift ever. Like, if you want to start with something, the price point is great. They're comfortable. You can just walk around in them, and they're bright yellow. So you're smiling gifts to whoever you gifted to.
Yeah.
That is the easiest way. So that's how I think about bringing Valencia Key in your life. Like, what mindset do I want to be in? And then bring that piece into your life, one piece. And then you can slowly add or gift as you want to.
I love that. And I love how it can be so all encompassing in your life, but then, like you said, a gift to someone else too. Like, how beautiful is that, that you can change your life, you can use it as an intention in your own life, but then also, spread that and share that gift with others by by gifting.
Ooh,
I love that.
that's so good. Someone else told me, it was my heart was smiling. They said when they get compliments on
Yeah.
their Valencia Key jewelry, it opens the door for them to share the meaning of it, to share the message to someone else. Oh,
Oh,
you just become this walking community. Like I said, I want the symbol to just immediately trigger people to say, oh, that person knows and inspire me that it's possible. And then when someone sees it, you're like, oh yeah, this means to believe.
yeah.
All things are, and so you're just rippling this light in the world just by wearing these pieces.
Gosh, I love that. Woo! I love it. I'm gonna have to get the socks, and I think I'm very much so feeling called to a bracelet. I think.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think it's easy, wear it, never take it off.
yeah, I love them.
Oh, I love you. Thank you.
Yay.
I
Yeah,
want us all to be um armored for life. Like we have a goodness that we are called to be in the world, whatever that looks like. It
yeah,
doesn't have to be a business. It could be like, I just want to be a kind person. You know what I mean? Like I just want to, when people meet me, their lives are changed just by the way I am.
yeah.
That's powerful in itself. And then, so how do we keep our mind strong to stay in the state and the way we want to be? And that's why I try to surround myself with all these things.
Yeah, what a beautiful reminder. I have to ask, might there ever be, I keep thinking this, so I'm gonna ask it. Might
Hey,
there be a point in which you write a book?
so asking me
Oh my
that.
gosh, I feel like you're like just maybe if you don't want to do it, I totally understand, but like I feel like you're destined. Something in me just feels like there is this like overwhelming need for you to write a book.
People are saying that, that hasn't was what book has whispered to me? A
What?
children's book.
Oh,
Yeah, I
oh,
can see like these characters of inspired, because I feel like our light, the power of radiating our light starts to be dimmed at an
mm,
early age from
mm,
experiences and people telling us and people all the things. And it's like, oh, to create a children's book that just really embodies being all of you in the most beautiful way and keep unlocking all of who you are.
oh
And
my,
I would love that if the children's book could some cool way be parallel to adults. Have you ever seen cartoons that you watch and you're like, that's for kids, but so much out of that too. Like that's how I would want my children's book to be.
yeah. Oh, I think it's in the cards for you. Leah, I think it's in the cards for you. Yes, I'm sending all the vibes. Do it, do it, do it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, Leah, this has been absolutely a pleasure to chat with you today. I so appreciate your time and just your energy, your light, your love. I can feel it through the screen. I am just so blessed to have been able to, like I said, hear you speak. And then to be able to chat with you today is just, this is the highlight of my day. It really is. It's the end of my day and it's the best part of my day. You've truly made my day. So thank you for your light and sharing it with me and everyone today. Before we wrap up, would you mind just sharing how women can connect with you, like all the ways? Because I mean, hello, you need to run, not walk to go connect with Leah.
Oh, well, your love is ever lifting. Like my heart is full from the love that you poured into me, and every heart that's listening, I feel your love and energy, and I'm so honored that you've allowed me to just shine a little bit of light into your life. So I'm so grateful. Thank you. Connect with me. Please go to the website, Valencia Key, VALENCIAKEY.com. I'd love for you to just get one piece and just let it be symbolic for you. Use it as a tool. It's a beautiful piece, but make it work for you and use it as a tool of intention. I promise it will be beautiful. And also put your email address in, because I love sharing little inspirational quotes and things Oh, on top of that, I love Instagram. I haven't like got in many other places, but Instagram is my place. So if you want to see other people shining their light in Valencia Key and how it's impacted their life, go to Valencia Key Design. And then if you want to see me, it's like, where's Leah? What is she doing? I'm traveling here. I'm skipping somewhere, cartwheeling somewhere else. It's at Lia Valencia Key. And people generally say you go to either one of those and you just, if you want to smile, if you just want to kind of get out of the day norm and know that there's a little piece of joy waiting for you, come to my page. I'll give it to you.
Oh, you will for sure. Hands down on that one. Yes. Ah, well, again, Leah, I will have all that in the show notes, but again, it's been a true honor to have you on. You are just the most incredible human. I adore you in more ways than one. And oh my gosh, yep, right back at you, girlfriend. I love you so, so much. Thank you again for sharing your presence, sharing your love and your wisdom with us today. It means so much.
Thank you. I love you so much. And this is the beginning of
Yes,
a big light connection together. I love
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. Mwah.